Today's lesson is adding and subtracting mixed numbers. And I do have another video that talks about adding mixed numbers, but this one is kind of like a review, quick review of how to do addition and subtraction, getting your common denominators as well. So the rules that I have for adding and subtracting fractions, first thing I'm going to do, I have to get common denominators. That is the number one thing that must happen first. In order to add, in order to subtract, your pieces have to be the same size. Rule number 2, I'm going to add or subtract the fraction parts first. And then for number 3, I'm going to do the whole number. And then at the end, if I need to rename, I can't have improper fractions. So I'm going to kind of fix my answers. You can also reduce. That is step number 4. Okay, so I'm going to start with my pink problem here first. And it is an addition, so make sure that I'm seeing that I'm adding here. Then I have a third and a sixth. So like we practiced before, can I turn the smaller number? Can I turn that 3 into a 6 by multiplying? Yep, I can. So my denominators are going to be 6. So I asked myself, 3 times what? What did I multiply by to get a denominator of 6? Multiply by 2, which means I have to do it to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So now my problem is really 5 and 4/6 plus 3 and 1/6. So because they're the same denominator, I am able to add them. 4 plus 1, add those fraction pieces, that equals 5. Now go and add my whole numbers, 5 plus 3, that is 8. So my answer is 8 and 5/6. All right, I am going to come over here to my subtraction problem. Can I turn my smaller number, that 4, into a 5 by multiplying? No, I can't. So I'm going to smash them together, or also known as the quick common denominator. Multiply them together, 4 times 5, which equals 20. So here's my 20, and here's my 20. All right, so now I have to get my numerators. 5 times what gives me 20? That is 4. If I do it to the bottom, I must do it to the top. 4 times 3 is 12. Same thing coming down here, 4 times what equals 20? That is 5. If I do it to the bottom, I got to do it to the top. 1 times 5 is 5. And so now I have my problem here. I have common denominators. I'm just going to rewrite it so you can see what I mean here. It is really 4 and 12/20 minus 2 and 5/20. So if you don't like having all that extra work when you're doing your problem, you can kind of rewrite that to make it a little bit easier to see. My denominator stays 20, and so now I'm subtracting. So 12 minus 5, that's going to equal 7. And then 4 minus 2, my whole numbers, that equals 2. So my answer is 2 and 7/20. All right, I'm going to move on over to another addition problem down here. So I have 3 and 1/3 plus 1 and 1/2. So I'm going to, the first step, can I turn that 2 into a 3 by multiplying? No, I cannot. So I'm going to do that, smash them together, quick common denominator. 2 times 3, that equals 6. So I'm changing both denominators here. 3 times what gives me 6? That equals 2, whatever I do to the bottom. Don't forget, I have to do to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. Moving down to the bottom, 2 times what gives me 6? That is 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I got to do to the top. 3 times 1 is 3. And so now I have 2/6 and 3/6, so I can add them together. 2 plus 3, I have 5 pieces now. 5/6, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So my answer is 4 and 5/6. Last but not least, I have a subtraction problem here. 5 and 1/4 minus 1 1/2. So the first step, I must get common denominators first. Can I turn that 2, the smaller number, into the bigger one by multiplying? Yes, I can turn a 2 into a 4. I'll put my 4 here. 2 times what gives me 4? 2, which also means I have to multiply the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I need to do my subtraction. I have 1/4 minus 2/4. And I'm going to rewrite it so you can see it a little bit better. So I have 5 and 1/4 minus 1 and 2/4, just so you can see. I have common denominators, but I have 1/4 and I need to take away 2. I can't do that. So just like you would do in subtraction when you're borrowing, I also have to borrow from my whole number here. I'm going to borrow from the 5 and make it a 4. And then I have this 1 that's kind of floating over here. Because I took the 1 from the 5, it's now 4, I've got this 1. And I'm going to turn that 1 into 4/4. And I chose that because my denominator is a 4. And I want it to be easy to add. So now 1 plus 4 is 5. And keep my denominator the same, 4. So I'm borrowing from the 1, and I'm taking that form of 1, making it into a fraction, so 4/4, and I'm going to add it to my fraction that I already have. And so now I'm going to be able to subtract. I have 5/4 now, so 5/4 minus 2/4. 5 minus 2 is 3. Keep that denominator the same. And then I'll do my whole numbers. It's now a 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So borrowing, definitely when you're subtracting, is one more step. Just make sure that you pull from the whole number and then you turn that form of 1 into your fraction. And here are your 4 lesson practice problems.